how's it going? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson. And today I have a lesson for all the beginners out there. I'm going to go over some alternative chord voicings that are really, really easy to play, and they're just kind of a substitution for some of the chords that you already know. Like I said, they're really easy to play, but they sound really good. And then I'm going to show you some examples of songs that they're used in and stuff. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is just kind of go over some of these chord voicings. And this is just a handful of ideas of things that you can do. So, chord that I'm sure you already know, E minor. But there are some alternative ways that you can play this from the way that, you traditionally play it like this. So, one way we can do it is actually just fretting the second fret of the D string, and then the G, B, and E strings are open. So you just kind of get the higher end, the top end of the chord. Now, a really, really easy way that you can play E minor actually just uses all open strings. So if we play the low E, the G, the B, and the high E strings, that's actually the notes that make up E minor. And if we wanted to make that E major, we just fret the first fret of the G string. So I have E minor and E major. Now with that particular one too, this is just kind of a little extra, is that you can just bar your finger anywhere. So like if I bar here at the 5th fret, since this is an A, now I have A minor. And if I put my middle finger down here on the 6th fret of the G string, then I have A major. So that's just kind of just a little extra that you can, move that around. We also can do E minor by coming up here to the 7th fret of the A string with your first finger, and then the 9th fret of the D string, so it'd be like a power chord. But if you play all 6 strings, that's E minor. So that's just a nice voicing, alternative voicing to this. I mean, it's the same notes, but it just sounds, I really like the way this one sounds. Now, by taking that same shape and then putting your 4th finger onto the 9th fret of the G string, we get an E5. So it's the same just as this, but it's just a nice big fuller sound. Now, with these shapes here, we can move this around. So if we move it down a whole step, so now we're starting on the 5th fret, this is actually D6 suspended 2. But again, it's a very nice sounding chord. And then if we move that shape down a whole step again, it's C major 7. Now, you don't really need to necessarily memorize what these names are and stuff, but you can just use these as like kind of an alternative to stuff. So if you had a song that like went E minor, C, D, you could just substitute those chord voicings, and it just kind of gives it a completely different sound. Okay, and then the other couple that I wanted to show you. Here we have, this is A minor add 9. So I'm on the 7th fret of the D string with my 3rd finger and the 5th fret of the G string with my 1st finger. And I'm playing the A, B, and E strings open. A minor add 9. And then one other variation on this I want to show you, just because it's going to be in a riff that we're going to look at here in a minute, is A minor add 9 over E flat. So I'm simply just putting my second finger, keeping the same chord, but I'm putting my 2nd finger down on the 6th fret of the A string. So now it's like my root note, or my lowest pitch note here is an E flat. And like I said, that's for a riff that we'll be looking at. So now that we have these, these alternative chord voicings, let's just look at some popular songs that actually use this. Alright, so the first one we're going to look at, which is probably the easiest guitar riff of all time, and that is Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. So for the intro to this song, it uses that E minor shape that we looked at, where it was just all open strings, the open low E, G, B, and high E strings. So with this, you simply play E, G, B, E, B, G. So you don't even have to do anything with your left hand. So that's just the notes that's right out of an E minor chord, but conveniently we just play all the strings open. Alright, so then the next one I want to look at is Killer of Giants from Ozzy Osbourne. So for the beginning of this, it just starts off with that E5 that we did up here, and you simply go E, A, D, G, and then high E, B, G, D. So that's the first measure, and then we move that down to our C major 7, and just go A, D, G, B, and high E. And then that just simply repeats. Alright, and then another really easy one that uses these same shape here, but it's going to use all three of these ones that we looked at earlier. And it's the riff from Sleeping in the Fire by Wasp. So we're going to start off with that same shape, that same E5 that we just did. And the picking is actually the same. We're going to go E, A, D, G, E, B, G, D. Just like that. So we have two measures of the E5. And then we're going to go to the D6 suspended 2. So simply just take this shape, move it down a whole step, and now we're going to do the same picking pattern, but now our first note will be starting on the A string. So we're going to go A, D, G, B, E, B, G, D. Two measures of this. Then after that, you probably guessed it, we're going to move down a whole step again, so that's C major 7, and it's the same picking pattern that we just did. Two measures of that, and then back up to the top. So it starts with two measures of the E5 and it ends with two measures of the E5, and then it repeats. That's like the intro and like the first verse of the song. So. Alright, so the last one I want to look at it's another Metallica riff, and this is just a segment from Call of Cthulhu. So this is the one that's going to use that A minor add 9. So we play starting on the A string, A, D, G, B, E, B, G, and then so if we now when we go back to the A string, you're going to take your middle finger, and this can be a little awkward, especially if you're a beginner. But you want to keep your first and third finger where they are on this chord shape. We're going to take your middle finger, and you're going to come up here to the 7th fret of the A string, and you're going to pick that and then move it down a half step to the 6th fret, and then just start the same picking process over again. Now this is all 8th notes. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's basically the riff. Alright, so there you have it. Like I said, lesson for the beginners out there, just on some alternative ways that you can play chords. And what's nice about these is that they're, for the most part, they're easier than, just a lot of the regular, traditional chords. And for the most part, it's always that shape, that power chord shape. So it makes it really easy to, play that and then move it around and just, with the open strings, it just sounds really nice. So something that you can do with this is just kind of play around with it, move it around, and just listen to, if you like the way that it sounds. Don't get too caught up in worrying about, with the fancy names like, A minor, add 9, all that kind of stuff. Just try moving the shapes around and just see if you like the way that it sounds. And then adding other fingers in, like we did here. Adding in it, just an extra note here and there and stuff can be something that's easily done, but it just sounds really nice. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Now, with this